less from you this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, very, very trappy. I mean, you have to be, because it's just two of us.
Yeah, good luck to you. Off you go. Yeah.
Denmark, this week. One for the Weekend podcast!
One for the Weekend podcast is back. Second week. I mean, last week it was back, and now it's still continuing for now.
What's going on this week? What are we talking about? Come on.
Danish Football Federation in chaos.
Bosh, more than that. What else?
We're going to be talking about your dreams, your weird footballer dreams.
What else, football-wise?
We've got some Flames advice.
What football-wise? Football. They're here for the football.
So football.
We get them in with the
England,
football,
right.
and we keep them with the bits.
Love that. England.
England.
Did we get carried away? What is their best 11?
What is England's best 11, James? What is it?
I don't know, but you've done yours, and we're going to talk through it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say where you've got it wrong,
okay.
essentially. And did we get carried away with England? Can they beat Spain in the Nations League? What is the Nations League?
Yeah.
All will be explained.
Yeah.
In this week's One for the Weekend.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Favourite bit coming up at the end is Footballer's Dreams, who you mentioned.
Footballer's Dreams. Yeah.
So last week I spoke about this really weird dream that I had with Sven-Goran Eriksson, Sean Derry, and we were all in a jacuzzi, and Sean Derry showed me his vajayjay.
Vajayjay.
Yeah, he had a...
Yeah, so that was odd. You can go watch that last week. Thank you very much for everyone who got involved. A lot of subscribe for Adams.
A lot of subscribers. How long we got?
Thank you.
So yeah, we'll put the timer up now. You can see the countdown to Christmas Day. Of course, everyone else is looking forward to it, but Adam on the ropes. If we don't get to 100k by Christmas Day,
By 25th of December.
It's not a joke.
No, it ain't a joke. It's not a joke.
Probably won't need it.
We've been set targets.
Out.
And the subscriber target is 100k by Christmas Day. And the best Christmas present you can give to Adam is so that he can continue doing his job for a meagre wage.
So yeah, a couple of people getting in the comments subscribing for Adam.
Yeah.
Subscribing for Adam. So it's good to see that getting a little bit of traction. But yeah, if you're new or if you're old and you enjoy Adam's input, then subscribe for Adam. Can we finally talk about Denmark?
Yes.
Okay, Denmark versus Slovakia. They lost 3-0. Not a big news story, you might say.
No.
But they were forced to field a starting 11 that included a salesman, a student, and an internet star, because they've got this commercial rights dispute.
Yeah.
That the first two tiers of Danish footballers and the manager are all within this dispute, and they've refused to play in this game.
Yeah, the PFA are at loggerheads with the FA, and it's obviously about money. And the PFA have said to Denmark players, including Christian Eriksen and Kasper Schmeichel, that don't turn up. Don't turn up, because if you do, you make a mockery of this standoff. The problem I have with it though is, what about the fans? Like, there are fervent fans of Denmark football.
If you bought a ticket to that game, going, I want to watch Denmark, are you actually more happy with the ticket now?
Yeah.
Just to see this farce?
See what happens.
Or less happy?
I think the curiosity would have been there for me, because imagine this is England, right? Imagine this is England. You've got players from lower down in the leagues, Carlisle, Torquay, making up the England side, but more importantly, futsal players. Yes. They've had to go into the depths of the very bottom of the barrel, getting futsal players who one of them played. He scored no goal.
He scored no, yeah, he did score no goal. So
Denmark.
Christian Offenberg, who led the attack for Denmark on Wednesday, is a part-time salesman who also plays for Danish third-tier side, Avarta. Right back, Simon Vollesen is also a student.
Wow.
And there's another midfielder called Rasmus Johansson. Good plug for him, because he's an internet freestyle. That isn't how old is that the BBC are going, he's an internet freestyle footballer.
Well, that shows
internet.
Old.
He's on the
how old and out of touch the BBC are at times.
Internet. He's got tens of thousands of followers on Instagram and YouTube.
Tens of thousands.
So that's exciting.
I mean, I've got 13,000, so that means I could have.
Really? All right, fair enough. Do you know what I loved about this? Right, my favourite thing is that even the manager's involved. Right.
Yeah.
So who do you get? Who do you bring in? You pick up the phone. Boop, boop.
Oh, God.
Get me John Jensen. And I watched this poor press conference where there's like 4 phones recording. Like no one's really bothered. And I don't know what makes it. I don't know why it's more comical for me that John Jensen gets wheeled out and goes. He's the temporary coach for it.
Well, he came out and said, "No one wins in this situation."
Certainly not my reputation.
Yeah. Like, why do it then? I mean, and I already have Denmark fans looking at him going, "Scab."
I don't know. I guess but you could be saying the same for all the players as well.
The
like,
issue
put it
is-
to one side. Represent your country.
Well, the issue here is that Denmark couldn't pull out of the tie, even though it was a meaningless friendly. It wasn't even the Nations Cup. It was just a meaningless friendly.
Yeah.
Nations League or whatever it's called. So they would have been kicked out of Euros 2020 if they hadn't played this game, which is why they went to the lengths they did in order to get a squad, knowing full well that they would no chance of winning. But as is the problem with international games, friendlies mean nothing, and you can do this shit and no one. It's funny. I mean, it's the only reason we're talking about this game.
But back to that press conference with John Johnson, he was going. He was trying to kind of big up his role as a coach, and he was like, on the plane here, I had a chat with all of them. And just spoke to them about what did I need to know as a coach. And then we had a training session behind closed doors. Because Slovakia, like, they've got Hamzic and Skirtle because they're petrified of bloody.
I think it's because the embarrassment of seeing this sort of slightly overweight futsal player.
Yeah.
That's what I like. It's do you remember Mike Bassett? Where he writes the England team on the back of a packet of fags.
Yeah, where does it say Benson Hedges?
Benson Hedges.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
stole it.
fuck the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this happened to England,
Yeah, it'd be amazing. I love it.
and I would love to know, which players would you love to see wheeled out for England? So you can't have a professional footballer.
And they have to be active.
Yeah, and so if this actually happened in England, obviously a couple of spaces would be taken up by irregulars.
Yeah.
Ralph Little.
Jonathan
Wilkes, captain, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
The guy is.
He loves
that's his
the
job,
game of
isn't
football.
it? I think that's on his bio. Is one, Robbie Williams, his mate.
Yeah.
2, charity footballer.
Yeah.
MC Harvey.
MC Harvey will definitely be in there.
Up. Usain Bolt will be sniffing around. And there you go. You're not English, mate. Fuck off.
And Ollie Mers, is he playing?
Ollie Mers loves it. He does. Yeah. There's a bloke from Busted. He loves it as well.
Yeah, he loves
Louis
it.
Tomlinson.
The geezer at Kasabian. He
loves it. Certainly,
he would definitely.
That would be class, though. I'd like to see that.
He's actually alright.
Who would you like to see wheeled out and forced to play for England, just to finally shut them up? There's we were talking about it earlier, and you didn't say who you had, but I had one came to my mind. Adam, let me know if you've got one as well. Henry Winter. Go on, Henry. Go on, Henry.
Yeah.
Fucking chirps him with your little posh accent.
On that note,
Martin Samuel.
Martin Samuel.
Go on, get on front.
Go on, off you go. You think it's so easy?
Go on, Pluto. Get on there. I'd like a slightly overweight fan on there as well, because fans are so trappy. They're so like, where's the passion? Where's the running? Go on then, fatty, run. Let's see how far you last. Let's see if you ain't puking your guts up on 33 minutes.
You fat toad.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all right.
it's fatty's playful. Fat toad is.
Well,
I love.
There's someone in mind I was thinking of when I
Who?
said that. Well, I don't want to say her name. But you know who I'm thinking of. It could be anyone, couldn't it, actually?
Yeah.
In this space.
Let's move on.
Let's know other people who'd like to have wheeled up. But yeah, actually, Henry Winter, can I just concentrate on him for a second?
Go on.
Because he is so fucking smug. Stop it. Right? And that is, you're never going to make him stop it, because he's got the gravitas, he's been in the game for ages, he tries to be semi-faux reasonable at times.
I know someone who used to work with Henry Winter. And
Go on.
he's
Smell some gossip. You smell some
well,
gossip.
he's apparently in the news world has an enigma. He's like, when he walks in the room, you shut the fuck up.
Really?
Yeah. So get on the fucking pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, Henry Winter on the pitch.
Do you think Henry Winter, and I'm picturing Henry Winter...
John Cross, he can go on.
Is he going on?
He's going in goal. Fuck him.
Lovely. Henry Winter, for me, despite his suave ways, when I picture him on a football pitch, shirt out, socks quite low.
Yeah.
You know, like Freddie Ljungberg used to do.
Yeah, well,
I think he'd do that as well.
But for the older gentlemen watching this, and ladies.
Jack Grealish.
Yeah, Jack Grealish is better one. Chris Waddle.
Chris Waddle, yeah. If you're even older. So yeah, there you go. Let us know other people that you would like to be forced to play for England.
Yeah.
I think that would be good.
When you play football, Jim, do you wear shin pads?
Yes.
Says a lot about you.
Everyone wears shin
You have to. It's the
Not
rules.
me, son. Rolled down socks saying, come and have a go if you want.
Yeah.
Come and have a go if you want some.
You shine up your shins, don't you?
Yeah,
You go,
it's
come
like
on.
that.
Yeah, if you can get near it, then
want
fine.
some?
Yeah.
You want some? I once played football for Bull Street FC against #United way back a couple of years ago, and I didn't bring any shin pads. I genuinely don't wear them because I find them uncomfortable.
Well, there's two types of shin pads, isn't there? There's ones,
The slip in the sock.
yeah, which everyone now uses, but back in the day, you'd have the ankle bit connected.
Yeah, they
which was
were
horrible.
It was I couldn't play.
Yeah.
I can't really play anyway. But I shoved a bit of cardboard down there. That's all I need.
I've done that. Get yourself an Evening Standard on the way to football. Rip that in half. Fold it up. Bosh.
Perfect. There you go.
Football tips. You're getting everything you need here on One for the Weekend. Speaking of getting unbelievable things, hello.
Someone
Chris
won it.
Kamara giveaway.
Yeah.
Now, let me read out a comment, and then we will say who's
Last
who's
week,
got
if you
it.
haven't seen, because some people might not have seen this, we were giving away free signed pictures of Chris Kamara, but obviously we couldn't get Chris Kamara signed because we don't have that kind of influence, so they're signed by us.
Yeah.
So, one of a kind, pictures of Chris Kamara.
Only one of those in the world. Well, 3 of them, but you get the point. So the comment was, boys, I need to complain. I hate to do this, especially since I love the podcast.
Yeah.
But I deserve a Chris Kamara signed photo. Last season,
Why?
I wanted one so bad. He's done that in capitals.
Who is this? Who's
I'm
this?
going to say it at the end.
All right.
That I went through every podcast on the Bull Street channel and commented.
Oh my
It took
God.
me around an hour due to bad internet, and I lost my place a few times. That doesn't make sense. I even #signed Chris photo giveaway and #one for the weekend on the odd Red Men TV videos
Lovely.
and True Geordie podcast.
Lovely job.
Yes, I know it's sad.
It's
but
not
I want
sad.
the flipping photo. Well, Scott Richmond,
You're not having them.
you're not having a mate. It's
No.
a bit,
We're going
bit
to
beggy.
We're going to keep them. He's trying too hard.
No,
All right.
I feel
No.
like we should give it to Scott.
We're not giving them.
I feel
Yeah, we're not.
he's worked really hard.
I don't give a shit.
I'll send him to you.
I'm keeping them.
I'll send him to you.
The thing is, sometimes you can try too hard. Do you know what I mean, mate? That's your problem. Trying
I think
too
we should be
hard.
sending
You're
them.
like one of those guys in the club, and you're hanging around the peripheries of a group of women.
What?
Yeah.
That's so hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're hanging around the peripheries, and they notice you, and they're like, "Fuck off!" And you're like, "Oh, I'm going to persist with this."
Wow.
But he probably ends up picking the dregs at the end.
Does he? Well, yeah. So every cloud.
Every cloud.
Every cloud.
They're coming to you, my friend. What's his name again?
Scott Richmond.
All right, I'm
well
gonna
done, mate.
delete that name from my mind.
I've got it, mate. So I appreciate people who actually put the effort in.
Oh no, God bless you. Because the one for the weekend is nothing without you lot in the comments. The whole of this podcast is designed to get you commenting because that helps the algorithm. So yeah.
That's good. Right. Let's talk Room 69, Flav.
Yeah, Ronaldo, get the fuck in.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo.
What, fat Ronaldo?
No, not him. I like him.
Why do you like
I
him?
just like the fact he's got a couple of wives. I mean, ain't
That's
him.
Ronaldinho,
That's
yeah.
like, well, that's all the
Yeah.
same. I'm sure he has.
All Brazilian legends.
Yeah, and he's into the more alternative.
Okay, right. So you're
Things
going
in life.
Room 69, which is a place where it's a foyer where people are eternally peckish.
Yeah, it's eternally peckish. They sit in room 69. They're basically people in football that we've had enough of.
But you're going with Ronaldo.
I'm going with Ronaldo, yeah. Because look, if you're not the very best, and
If you're not first, you're last.
then you're not. You've missed your spot. Everybody in football has their role, all right? Robbie Savage has his role. Steve Stone, former Nottingham Forest winger, has his role.
Did you plug that?
I don't know.
Right.
Ronaldo has his role, and that's to compete with Messi.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're Juve now, which is easily the best team, it's all like dope league as well, isn't it? Juve won it 7 on the bounce, pathetic.
Yeah.
Ronaldo is now playing for that team. Hasn't scored a goal in 3
Hasn't
games.
scored a
Get in the
goal.
fucking room.
One assist.
One assist.
Where's the output?
So what is it then? What is it? Because essentially right now he's Andros Townsend. He's Andros Townsend,
Yeah.
but in Italy.
In a different kit. Okay, so he goes in. He's gonna.
Anyone in the comments disagree with me? If you think that Ronaldo is not interesting unless he's like scoring 50 goals a season, in my opinion, 30 goals is not enough. Get in the room. We've all had enough.
What's a failure for him this season? 33 years of age, of course. Gone to Juventus this season. 3 games in, no goals, 1
I
assist.
mean, anything less than 30 goals is a failure for him, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you're on the decline, aren't you, if that happens?
So they
So
pay,
give up now, is
how
what
much
you're
did they pay for him?
It's nearly 100 mil, isn't it?
Yeah.
All in.
All in, and his wages huge.
God knows. I think his wages are like 30 odd million a season.
Wow. I think they've brought him in because they want to win the Champions League. That's the thing that's kind of evaded Juventus for so long. They've smashed the league. It's not even a thing anymore. I'm sure they don't even celebrate that. Champions League is what they need to do because they come so close so many times.
I agree.
They've brought in Ronaldo and it's not working out.
No.
Cut your losses. Get rid. Last season we did a show about how this was the worst England squad ever made and that Southgate is just a meh.
How far do you think England will get?
Probably not turn group stages. How quickly things change, don't they? How little do we know? Or do we all get a bit carried away?
Well, so we're on the other side of that rainbow that magical time.
Yeah.
And do you know what, I remember on the morning of the semi-final.
You took it hard.
Yeah, I did.
You took it really
I
hard.
took it very hard.
Yeah.
It hurt.
You realise that football is about disappointment.
Yeah.
You know this. You know this better than anyone.
I know.
Is it because
Right.
it was because as a QPR fan, this is like a glimpse of actual glory that you can be a part of? Is that what it is? Is that why it hurts so much?
I think there is something in terms of like the world stage that QPR are. It's going to take us a little while to get back into the Champions League, which we've never been in before.
Yeah.
And because of that, when you go
it's
to
like a
these
novelty,
major tournaments,
isn't it,
it's an opportunity. I like to call it.
Because I think as a Premier League fan of a team that's in the Premier League, every game's a bit like a World Cup game. So
Is it? Well, when you're playing at Wembley.
but I understand why it hurts so much.
Look, it hurts all, Flav. Don't you know? I know what you're trying to do here. I'm not biting. Adam, you got caught up in it as well.
Yeah, they gave me the best summer of my life.
Best summer of his life.
I will never forget the summer of 2018.
Absolutely.
And so this is great because a lot of young people were watching this and listening to it at podcast. They wouldn't have experienced an amazing England campaign, and the drama around England's campaign during the World Cup was tantamount or comparable to 1990
It was, man.
It
was sick.
Euros in
It was amazing.
in 1996.
It was so good.
And it was so good. And he said at the start, he goes, I don't want to win it. I don't mind. I'm not expecting us to win it. I want to be a part of one of those defining summers.
Yeah.
And I remember he was very drunk. And I went to watch the game and went to meet a couple of his mates as well after the game once. And he just turned around and went, this is one of them summers, isn't it? He was so happy.
Yeah, he was.
One of them summers. And then
Because it didn't click in our minds until he said it, really.
Yeah. That's how important it is and what England means to a lot of people. Because England in international football, it's easy to just kind of brush it all under the carpet. It's boring. It gets in the way in the Premier League. It's not, no one really. But even Liverpool fans, some of them were getting into it, like having pretend not to like it.
Yeah, I loved it because everyone they put their weapons down. This nonsense banter that you throw at me each week.
What?
You just less, wasn't it? It was just less
of it.
Just for a couple of.
Did you like everyone coming together for
man,
because of
amazing.
football?
The zenith for me was in Hyde Park at half time. I was working diligently for Ball Street.
Yeah.
And may have consumed 1 or 2 beers.
Yeah.
And I walked to the toilets. You were in Hyde Park, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there.
I went to the toilet, and it was the most joyous piss I've ever had in my entire life, because it was rammed, but you were all walking and like people were going, I love that shirt, mate, because I had like a blue one.
Yeah.
I love that shirt, mate. I love your shirt, mate. We're gonna do it, aren't we? Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Football's
Give me a hug,
coming
you
home.
fucker. Come here. Yeah, and then went to the toilet and people going, piss if you love England. And like everyone's obviously pissing, and it was just like that was just before it, obviously spiraled a little bit and went wrong. What on the other side of it now?
Can I just say my favourite moment of the World
Yeah,
Cup?
of course.
Being alone, driving a van back from Russia, and listening, not watching, listening to England beat Colombia on penalties. No other person. I mean, there was not a single car on the motorway apart from me. All of England were watching this momentous moment, but I wasn't. I was in a van driving home from Russia, wasn't I, Jim?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, sorry about that. That was the most intense moment. Certainly,
Right,
that's when I lost.
We're done with that then, are we?
Lost my mind.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, what do you want to say?
Just sorry again.
Sorry.
What's that?
Huh?
What's that?
This?
Yeah.
I'm just reliving the summer. Well, Adam says it's cool, so I thought.
Just one other thing on that.
We're going to talk about it. And
Sorry.
It's going to be actually cool.
Nah. I mean, I'm not sure if it's yes for hat or no for hat. Let us know in the comments. Each week you should have another hat. See which one works for you.
Yeah,
because you've never quite been able to pull off a hat.
Do you know what? I've told you this before. When I was when I was younger, I was short and chubby. Fortunately, not anymore.
No.
But back then I was, right, and I'd go to youth club every
Was you
Friday.
worried about ever losing your virginity or?
But yeah, absolutely.
Constant.
Well, actually, that was just behind hitting puberty and getting pubic hair.
Yeah.
That was my main aim at that time. And then that came.
Yeah.
Just talk about joyous summers. And then virginity happened further down the line.
It's an important thing to talk about, puberty.
Oh mate, I'm sure I've said that on this podcast. The moment when I realised I had pubic hair, it was epic.
Yeah, it was great.
It was like, imagine England beating Colombia in a penalty shootout times by 10. That's what it was like. Because I was like, I'm okay. I'm growing. Anyway, in year 8, I would had a thing about hats because I was thinking, like, how can I woo the lay days?
Yeah.
Right?
Lay days.
And speaking of which, Birds and That and some Flames advice on its way later in the podcast. What was that? I just did that.
No, he
doesn't
doesn't want
want
it. But it's still coming, so not much you can do about it.
Still coming. And I thought
we'll get something because I've got something already.
I thought I'll be the hat guy.
You can be the hat guy.
I could be the hat guy. So what I did was I went down to like sports shop or something. Went down beanie section. Right?
Oh jeez.
Got myself 2. wait. 2 reversible.
So you got 4
beanies, right? And so that was my thing for about a month because I quite liked Jamiroquai at the time, and he'd always have a hat on.
So you were the beanie guy.
I was the beanie guy, and I was but then it did seem to work.
No,
I got quite sweaty. But you got to try these things. When you're young.
England.
Sorry, England. Yeah. So on the other side of it, now we've had that summer, Adam, but we need to move forward. Flav.
Yeah, and we can move forward with hope. Now.
We can, and I do you know what I like. If you think about the first game after Euro 2016 and the lack of interest for probably the 18 months after that, this time now you've got the Nations League, which we can explain in a second,
right.
And you've got optimism.
Optimism. Yeah.
Optimism.
Look, you've got optimism for several reasons. One, because the performance in the World Cup was real, it was tangible, and something that we could have got to the final. Maybe should have. I think Croatia were probably underestimated somewhat, but we were good enough.
But in the cold light of day, how good is this team? And the 11 that is going to play Spain. So in our Nations League group, we've got Spain and Croatia. To explain Nations League really quickly.
Go on then.
Basically, in the next 3 months, we're in a group. There are 4 leagues, and within those 4 leagues, there are groups of 3 or 4. We're in a group with Spain and with Croatia. We'll play Spain and Croatia at home and away. And then at the end of that, because we're in League A, if we win that group, we then go into the semi-finals and finals to be the first ever Nations League winners.
So it's not a league then?
It's a league that turns into a cup. And by June, you thought it was coming home this summer. It could be coming home next summer, next June.
Like it.
The Nations League is coming home.
I don't care.
It's good
It conjures nothing.
Football that matters.
So that's it.
It doesn't matter because teams are not being able to field their best sides. Players are still coming out injured. Sterling's suddenly injured.
Yeah, Sterling and Lallana have both withdrawn from the squad for injury.
Genuinely injured because he's perpetually injured.
He does seem to be, but that's not his fault.
Sterling.
But so with this Nations League thing, first of all, the cold hard light of day.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing Spain and Croatia. Okay, 2 obviously juggernauts, and even if you get through that, this is a proper test of where we are because we are in that top league. If you finish bottom of your little group, you then move into
relegated.
Yeah, you go into League B, I think it is.
Yeah.
So, what chance do we have of winning this group? How good is this team?
I don't know about the chance of winning the group because you don't know how Spain and Croatia are going to take it because the reward is to qualify for Euro 2020. That's the ultimate reward.
Yeah.
But all of us are going to qualify. So there's no real. It doesn't do anything other than push your coefficient. Anyway, look, it's hard to gauge. It really is because I still think that the squad isn't that talented. It's not an incredible first 11, but they've bought into a system that Southgate has employed. 5-3-2 isn't common now in football, and he's made it work for him. He's made an individual tactic that kind of seems to work for England, and fills the holes where the quality ain't there.
Yeah.
So,
but that in itself almost papering over cracks, is it not?
I don't think it is. I think it's making the best out of what you've got and utilising your strengths, which is what everybody should do. In a personal life, what are you strongest at, and build on that. And that's the same thing. Hats for you. Harry Maguire is a limited footballer, though talented. He works so well in that system because he has a role that's perfect for him. You don't concentrate on his lack of pace or his kind of bumbling way of playing football. Don't concentrate on that. What are you good at? Get that fucking giant head on the ball.
get that.
I know
use
that's an
that enough.
overly simplified way of looking at him, but it does work. And what's more exciting, and why we should be excited about the future, is there are young, technically gifted kids coming through, and these are not just ones that we've talked about in the past, like Wilshere, always good, Dele Alli. These are kids that play together and are winning things at youth level, and that's another thing as well, and that's why we should be excited about the football, is that every age level we're competing and doing well.
Yeah.
So the three players on the fringe of England's squad, in my opinion, and I think yours as well, is Foden, Sancho and Sessegnon. Sessegnon's a shoo-in, it's only a matter of time, but he started on the bench for Fulham last week, so is he ready? We don't know. And we do have a penchant for throwing young kids in too early. At a World Cup, this game's perfect for them. Foden should be in there. So should
I think Southgate's made a bit of a mistake here, because I think he could have because if say we lose to Spain, then lose to Croatia, and you finish bottom of that group, then that would have been, our record could look quite bad all of a sudden, because obviously we lost to Croatia and lost to Belgium, in the group as well. So in terms of beating teams that are good, we won't have beaten any teams. So if I was Southgate, I would have reiterated how long-term a project this is, and I would have maybe given Bailey a go, maybe given Sancho a go, maybe given Foden. Definitely should have been in that squad for me, because he is the player that we're crying out for. Because this starting 11, give us your starting 11 for this, because I've got some questions on the players in it that are Spurs players.
I've got Pickford, Trippier at right wing back in using Southgate's formation.
Yeah.
Pickford, Trippier, Walker at right centre back, Maguire, Stones, and Shaw on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midfield, I've got Dele Alli, I've got Loftus-Cheek,
You've got Henderson,
and I've got Henderson, and then up front Rashford and Kane. The problem, I think that's probably our strongest team. If you're going into a tournament game, that's probably our strongest team. For Luke Shaw's had an incredible start to the season.
Yep.
He's been reinvigorated.
Amazing, you're saying that he nearly lost his leg.
Yeah, if he'd have got on the plane, he would have probably blood clotted and lost his leg. Yeah.
Crazy, man.
But that is a fairly decent side, and then with the youthful, the fact that they're playing with freedom, and there wasn't much fear around that England side, and there's a unity. A lot of the players have talked about the minute we met up. It was clear that there was a great chemistry between this group of people. We got on. It wasn't cliquey. It was about them all being there for the right reason, but also loving each other at the same. You saw that footage of them all slapping each other on the back of the head. They look like a bunch of mates. You seen that on the plane? So this is on the plane where photographers, when they arrive back and they're it's either going out or coming back, and they're videoing it. And if you watch carefully, you just see hands flying around like that, and they're all slapping each other on the back of the heads. And while that is quite childish and basic, it is a sign that the chemistry is there, and that's important. And then so you've got a team that plays without fear, that believes that they can do things, and then add some really good young players, not just these are players that will be playing at the top of their respective leagues. Sancho at Dortmund, Foden will somehow find a way into that amazing Man City side. So it's about how when and can you trust them,
and that's why I come back to the fact that I think he's made a bit of a mistake here, because he could have gone, okay, we know these guys might not be ready yet, but these guys are the future, and you almost go, oh, okay, I see what he's doing here. I'm going to give him another 18 months.
Who does Foden go in front of? Because you put him in front of Loftus-Cheek, then you're creating its own problem.
Maybe.
Loftus-Cheek deserves to play now, to see what he can do.
The other question I've got about this team and that starting 11 that you've put, because I think most people will go, he's going to start with that same formation. I think a lot of people would agree that I'm not sure you can win I mean, look, anything can happen in football. I don't think that formation worked for the sort of safeguarding of a wobbly
defence
centre back.
Yeah.
But is Lingard and Ali, are they going to win you a World Cup as your creative players?
Not in that formation. It's very difficult. I think they're better suited to playing much further forward than playing in midfield. Dele Alli is a competent centre midfielder. He can play there. He played a lot there for MK Dons and Spurs when he joined. He was deep lying and then was pushed forward. So he can do it, but he's not. I don't think they can do it from that far down the pitch. Yeah. And the other issue with that formation as well is that Sessegnon, where does he fit? His position isn't available in that formation.
And that's why I think sooner or later he's going to have to change that. Definitely.
To make the best out of his young players, probably, yeah.
I also wonder as well, let me know your thoughts on this one. Lingard and Ali. I think there's a journey in life and in football where you kind of your potential, and you get a bit of a free ride, and that's nice. But if we want this England team to win tournaments, do they have enough potential left in them to get to the level where they're going to be players who are going to really take us to that level?
I can't see Dele Alli evolving much more than he has. He's a player that is. It's sometimes difficult to see his value and why he's so highly rated, but then he'll have a game where you think he is impossible to mark. He's a nightmare, and he does so much off the ball that creates so much space that it's difficult. You sometimes look at Ali and look at his performance in England and you think, well, what does he do? He does a lot. It's just you're not watching. You can't because you're looking at the ball. I think you don't worry about the individuals. You worry about the system. And there have been a number of examples where the system wins you trophies. Greece, Denmark. It's a system, they're not fancy, but the system wins. With the players and the system that is working, and did work throughout the World Cup, I think why not go on and win the Euros?
That's what I like.
Why not?
Do you know what I like? Those two words. Those two words that no one was saying in March of this year.
Yeah.
Certainly if we went back and watched that podcast, there's no why not.
Yeah.
Now there's a why not in people's
absolutely,
minds.
And that's all we need.
That's all we need.
That's all Southgate and his team, but also looking at, like I said, like these so many good young English players. Look at the reason you're getting major European clubs buying English talent now is because they recognise the incredible improvements that there have been in the English coaching setup. And for so long, in media, journalists and fucking TalkSport presenters and all that kind of stuff, they were saying, what's wrong with England? The FA have got to pay. Well, they listened. They listened to that and they sorted their act out and they developed the England DNA. And I think we'll see a crop of youngsters that like which we've never seen in England before, but also similar to what happened in Belgium, where they've got just player after player coming through.
So what I think Flav's trying to say is, thank you, Adrian Durham.
Yeah.
Thank you, Horsby and Jacobs.
Yeah, why not?
Thank you. Yeah. They'll be testing themselves this weekend. Little link here for you, Flav. Why don't you test yourself with some trivia? Yeah. Last week we asked you this question. No one got it. No one got it. A lot of people got like 4, but we asked you, which 5 Italians played Premier League football for Manchester United? You got one. You got Federico Macheda last week.
Yeah.
Matteo Darmian is another. Giuseppe Rossi and Massimo Taibi, the blind Venetian, was his nickname apparently. Someone said in the comments, thank you for that. The one that no one got, Rodrigo Possebon.
Who is he? When did he play for them? What era?
I can't answer any of those questions, I'm afraid. Sticking with the Italian theme, because I quite like this question as well, and I think people might be able to get this one.
Go on.
Which 4 Italians scored Premier League hat-tricks?
Can I guess one?
Simple. You can guess one. There are 4.
Is Vialli one?
Vialli is one. Well
Come on,
yeah.
boys,
Well done, mate.
All right, I'll leave it there.
Leave it there. There are 3 others to get. I've got it here. I've got the game and the scoreline as well. So if you want extra points on that,
Not really.
No. Cool. Do you want to do disappointing? So we've got 2 new bits now.
Yeah.
Footballers' dreams or disappointing headlines. Which one would you like to do?
I think let's do disappointing headlines.
Okay. How did this evolve? How did this one come up?
Well, someone sent me a WhatsApp. Felonious Phil from the Fighting Cock podcast. He sent me a link to this headline, and I read it, and I thought, Jesus Christ. Just let's go. What is it?
Disappointing headline of the week goes to the Daily Star. Incredibly, who will be revisiting. Yeah, well,
Daily Star.
We'll be revisiting the Daily Star in Flames Advice later on, so stick around for that. Yeah, we will. And the headline is this: 6 months to go. Adam Johnson's sister says countdown on for nonce footballer's release.
I mean, it's not funny, but
no.
What the fuck? I mean,
the sister of disgraced footballer Adam Johnson has said she is counting down the days until he's free.
I mean, whatever. That's fine. Do whatever you want to do, but the Daily Star, nonce, for example, it's not even like an official term. Like, what's the Daily Star doing it?
Do you know what as well?
Paedophile footballer.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah,
it's just like nonce football. They know what they're doing.
6 months to go. Adam Johnson's sister says countdown on for nonce footballer's release. Come on.
Countdown on.
Please. Disappointing.
Nonce footballers release.
And do you know what? I searched because so he showed me the headline. And I went, I need to find it. All I searched was Daily Star football nonce, and it didn't narrow it down. They've used it in like there's loads of headlines and they're using the word nonce.
They're throwing it around like there's nobody's business.
Slinging nonsense around all over.
It's gutter journalism again. You know, ultimately this is a sister of a brother who's done just fucking horrendously stupid thing, and then they're just throwing her under a bus, aren't they? Because she's made a, I don't know what does the countdown look like? Is it a clock she's got? Like, is it similar to our Christmas countdown for Jake?
I don't know.
I mean, nonce countdown.
What are you suggesting? We put up a countdown for Adam? Different Adam. Just to be clear, anyone
not
thinks
Adam Johnson.
This isn't? We're not
Adam,
filming this from
Adam,
the prison waiting room.
No. Adam,
that's a different Adam.
Yeah, different Adam. Hashtag subscribe for Adam.
Do you want to say
Bull
so?
Street's Adam. No,
Bullshit.
Don't
Yeah.
Someone might Google it. Some of the girls.
Send us your disappointing headlines in the comments below, or on Twitter @Bull Street, and we will read out the most disappointing headlines.
Yeah, the best ones you might see. You might see them throughout the week. They could be football related. They could be a headline that means absolutely nothing, like Liverpool linked with star striker. Anything. Let us know.
What was the other one? There was an Arsenal one. You were saying. I think it might be Daily Star as well. There's telling Arsenal, Unai Emery told to forget the Premier League and concentrate on the Europa League.
Like, what is that?
There was
all right then. Yeah, it's just fucking. We'll finish 15th.
I think I've said this one as well on the podcast before. There was one on teletext. Carragher confirms he can't. No, admits he can't confirm that Liverpool will win the Premier League title during his time there.
Yeah, and there's a reason why this stuff exists, because it all works, because idiots click on it.
Yeah.
Like me.
Footballers' dreams can happen to you. Look at Flav, it happened to him with 2.
Start again.
Yeah. Footballer dreams can happen to you. Look at Flav, he had 2. Occasionally it happens, but you know you gotta be strong. Thank you. That was like Simon Cowell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, you need to come back and do it again.
You do it again.
And I came back and
Do you have another song?
But he even does it like that.
Yeah.
He even goes,
Do you have another song?
I do actually, it's the same one, just with the right words.
Yeah.
That took me 5 minutes. Am I a songwriter? I think
That's
so.
why he's sitting there.
So last week,
there.
Flav enlightened us with some real insight of a dream that he had once with Sean Derry and Sven-Goran Eriksson in a hot tub. If you want to know
He's got
how...
a mangina.
Well, he's just done my punchline this time.
Yeah.
If you want to see how that one... Yeah.
I've already done it in this pod. He's got a mangina!
And incredibly, they're about...
Just went like this in my dream. He just went...
I just gently pulled it up.
Pulled it down. Just went... What you that?
Did you wake up? Was it like a film?
No, I just sort of just carried on with the dream. Really.
Yeah. And did you just sit back down?
I think he got out, and his little bum cheeks I saw as well. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Weird, yeah. What does it mean, though?
What does it mean?
Is there any psychology students watching this who can let me know why I dreamt that Sean Derry had a vagina and I was in a hot tub with him?
Well, and that's the good thing about this podcast as well, is that often we do like to pick apart each other. We like to sort of dissect things, and I think that's what we can do with this. So we're going to read out. There was about 15 of you that got in the comments and said, "I once had a dream."
Go on,
a dream.
Tell me.
So we've got 2 for you this week. Let us know your diagnosis of it in the comments below, and we'll pick it apart here as well. First one comes from Thomas, who once had a dream. He said, "I once had a dream where David Bentley was chasing me round the castle dressed as a monk and trying to stab me in the chest with a screwdriver. He caught me at the bottom of the castle, but got floored by John Terry before he could do me any real damage." Always hated JT, but started to take more of a shine to him after that.
It's funny though when you have a dream and you have something like there was. I used to work. Should I say this? I'm sure she won't hear it. Anyway, yeah, right.
Just don't name it.
I worked somewhere. No, fuck. People probably have to work it out. They're freaks. They'll work it out. I basically there was this girl I never used to think anything of at all. Had a sex dream about her, and from that point on, I was like, "Fuck, she is hot." Yeah. Whereas, as opposed to, it went from not even remotely thinking about that,
Yeah.
to suddenly going, "Oh,
Yeah?
weird." Yeah,
Wow.
really weird. Nothing happened though.
No, and you totally respected her, and
she never knew anything about it. It's just something that existed inside my brain for me.
lovely. Yeah, that's both perverted and respectable.
I don't think it's perverted.
It's both.
It's both.
Yeah, it's both. It's both. But let's talk about Thomas here. So David Bentley chasing him around a castle as a monk, and trying to stab him in the chest with a screwdriver.
Yeah.
So someone's trying to get at him. It's David Bentley.
I think.
And a castle. Is it him? He's running towards modern football, and that's why it's a castle, because the home of football. There's an old idea of football, old idea of the home of football, castle, and you've got one of your enjoyable figures of the past of football, a character, if you will, David Bentley, chasing you, and it's your old religion. That's why he's dressed as a monk. But he's saying, "How dare you like football Twitter?
Nah.
How dare you like football YouTube? I'm going to get you with an old school laddie weapon, screwdriver."
Yeah, one that you might see on the terraces of the Den.
And then probably the king of the modern footballer in the last 10 years, JT, comes and saves him.
Yeah.
And goes, "It's okay. It's just a game of football. You continue to love it for what it is in the way that it is now." That's how I see this one.
All right. I don't really have anything to add.
See if you can do anything on this one.
What?
Rue Steedman. Have you got something or not?
No.
Rue Steedman. "I dreamt that Fernando Torres was my little brother and he wouldn't stop crying. It was so strange. He had his regular face and head on a toddler's baby." Any thoughts on that, Adam?
Sorry, repeat it, please.
Don't repeat it. I mean, fuck knows. I enjoyed it. What? I
Fernando
don't know what to
Torres
say.
was my little brother and he wouldn't stop
I would
crying.
say that, alright, subconsciously, Fernando Torres was a little bit of a kind of fanny, wasn't he? It was just behaved like a fanny on the pitch. He was a bit babyish in the way that he was petulant, weren't he? And instead of getting involved in actual kind of rough play.
I'd be interested to know if he's a Liverpool fan.
Roughhousing. Fuck.
Roughhousing, right.
Rough play. Roughhousing, he would kind of do little sneaky things like scratch people and stuff like that. So, make subconsciously.
I wonder if Rue's a Liverpool fan, maybe there's some kind of conflict with your feelings on him as someone that you loved, but also someone who left you in a childish manner.
Yeah.
Maybe something there.
Yeah, maybe.
Let us know your dreams, your footballers' dreams, in the comments below. We'll read out some more next week. Game's gone, though.
Game has gone.
Andy Gray, who I think we can all agree is one of the most respected TV pundits out there in the game today, he's had to make his marker on this because Liverpool have got themselves a throw-in coach. Thomas Gronemark has the weirdest job in football.
It does.
And Andy Gray, thank goodness for Andy, because otherwise the game will fully have gone. But being sports pundit, Andy Gray, he's telling it how it is. He says, so they were talking about it on Being Sports about the fact that this guy's come in and he's now he's got the world record for the longest throw, which is 51.33 metres.
It's a long way.
Impressive, yeah. And Andy Gray, he's not happy with it.
What's he said?
He says, "I'll tell you what, I'm taking that up. I'm now officially a throw-in coach. I'm sorry, a throw-in coach. Here's the ball, pick it up with both hands, take it behind your head and throw it with both feet on the ground. Number one, throw it to one of your players. Number two, keep hold of the ball. I'll tell you what, I'm officially a throwing coach. And I'm also going to some clubs later this month to teach them how to kick off. I want to be the first kick-off coach."
I mean, he's a dick, isn't he?
He's fed up with it, is Andy.
Yeah, but he's like a dinosaur. So if you look at it logically, and I read the article too, and there's some good points here. Like, there's
54. Liverpool had 54 throw-ins in the last game. On average, there's about 40 to 50 throw-ins in a game, that's a set piece, isn't it? Every time you do that.
But if you send a player picks up the ball, goes to the side, like Gomez's throws were insanely good. You throw things a different technique that enables you to create positions and opportunities that wouldn't have otherwise been there. Like Rory Delap is the obvious example where he just launched that missile and every time they got a corner, you thought, oh god, this is throw-in. You thought this was going to be a corner. But it's but more to a throw-on than just getting it back onto the pitch. So the obvious one would be throw it to the right winger and he'll just cushion it back. But who's to say you can't get an advantage out of 54 throws? There are ways of teaching someone to use that at the maximum available
I read a bit about this.
Yeah.
And so apparently every Premier League goal is worth 2 million. So if this guy...
Every Premier League goal is worth 2 million what?
roughly, £2 million,
Really?
apparently. And so if this guy... If Liverpool score more than 2 goals from throw-ins,
Yeah.
say that's... If his salary is less than 4 million, which obviously is,
Obviously,
then he's
yeah.
paid for his...
Yeah.
He's worth it.
And this is not. So this is someone who's worked in football since 2004, teaching throw-ons, correct way to do it, increasing vision, increasing technique, to give the best possible delivery. I don't think it's a silly thing at all. In fact, I wish it was happening at Spurs.
It's about margins, isn't it? So I
The
understand.
whole game is about margins.
Yeah, totally, and it is like he says himself, and it does make sense. It is an underestimated aspect of the game, and do you know what, honestly, it's something my dad has probably been saying for the last 20 years. He always goes, every time they know what they're doing at throw-ons, and then we get the ball and there's just that.
Yeah.
Like the one guy like twiddling it with his right hand, going, "Who want?" Like,
Yeah, it's that.
yeah. It's like,
And then you're going to be this.
Yeah, he loves that. Because it must be dry. It must be dry. He did lose me a little bit
What, your
when I
dad?
read this. No, not my dad.
Oh, right.
My dad's great. He said, I focus. The way I read this, I was just a bit like.
Go on.
He went, I focus on everything you can imagine. This is Gronemark.
Yeah.
It's Gronemark. He says, it's not just a technique of the throw, but how to receive it, how to make the right runs, the positioning, creating space.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
I don't know, just the way I kind of said it, the way he said it, I kind of...
No, that makes complete sense.
It does make sense. I just think...
Why should the same amount of less thought go into producing a throw-on than it would a corner kick?
I totally agree with it.
Diligent.
It's just when you see the footage of him going, and there's 2 other guys, and he's going, no, you do it like this.
Yeah.
It does look a bit weird.
Right.
But the most annoying thing, massive pet hate of mine, is, and it's embarrassing, at a lower level at Sunday League, when there's a foul throw, it blows my mind that a foul throw can still happen.
Just for those that don't know, what is a foul throw? Is it something lifting your foot off the ground, releasing the ball before it's gone past the top of your head?
I think you've got to release it before it gets here.
Yeah, so it's got to be like that.
Yeah, and yeah, keeping your feet on the ground.
Is that it? Those 2 things?
Yeah, that's about it.
Pretty much, isn't it? And then not moving down the touchline.
You do look like you look pathetic if there's a foul throw, don't
But
you?
you have quite a high. I played football with you. You've got quite. You turn into something else.
Yeah, mate.
Well, you just turn into like when you're playing football, you turn into something else.
I think that's what it.
You demand.
I'm not. You think I'm asking too much of mine? You throw the ball in properly. Surely not.
You always say, just be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
I
What?
just
You're
want
saying
you
I'm
to
not
be
being
the best
that?
version of yourself.
I'm
just saying that after a few beers,
They get on the football pitch.
Might be tricky to throw it properly.
It shows you that's an insight into your preparation for football games. Gotta hydrate.
What about on your stag do? What did we do on the first day?
Yeah,
Drank 4 beers and then had a game of 5-a-side football.
Yeah.
What the?
I had about 6 shots and then we went.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good time.
Right, Flames advice time.
Bit weird when they're
What?
just the ladies of the night coming on 5-a-side pitch.
He's kidding.
I
Baby's
am
kidding.
100% kidding.
Right, Flames advice. Now, last week we had nothing from you lot. You obviously either the advice is drying up, or you just don't want to hear it, or we're not doing it well enough. So what I thought I'd do is I'd test you, Flav,
Yeah.
and me, I guess a little bit, with a professional. To compare your expert analysis and
Yeah.
advice with a professional. So I went back to the Daily Star, so second trip to the Daily Star, and Just Jane, who's one of my favourite agony aunts.
Just Jane.
Just Jane, she's great. So people send her all sorts of problems that they have, and she gives really good advice.
Yep.
So I was just on that, just stumbled across this one. So we'll see what your advice would be for this problem. Okay. So Just Jane, and actually, can we just we'll in the edit we'll put on the picture. The picture of this is amazing. So the headline is Just Jane, I'm addicted to cheating romps, right? But the picture is that. It's so funny. Amazing. So this is on the Daily Star, Just Jane giving her advice. So this person wrote in and said, I'm newly married but I'm already cheating. I just can't help myself. So he's got...
Is that it?
No.
Right.
I love my new wife to bits. She's funny and lovely and so good to me. But the minute I'm out on my own, the temptation to chat up in bed other women becomes overwhelming. I simply can't help flirting, complimenting and creeping off.
Creeping off. Ugh.
Never heard that one.
Yeah.
During a conquest, I feel amazing. I'm in the moment and I don't even think about my wife or what I'm really doing. All I focus on is the thrill of the chase and the resulting sex.
Yeah.
I get a tremendous buzz from being admired. It's like a drug to me.
Yeah.
I do have a bloody... Oh, no, it doesn't even say that. I do have a good body.
A bloody good body.
First of all, bloody. I do have a good body, and I suppose I'm easily flattered. I've only been married a few months, but I'm already letting my wife down with a couple of local women.
Couple of local women.
One works in the local pub, while the other is a nanny for a posh family up the road. The nanny is particularly exciting. I only have to hear...
Why does he need this additional information? Just tell her. Just tell her. I'm having sex with loads of women. I've just married. I don't want to do this. I feel guilty. Why? The nanny is particularly exciting.
Context helps, doesn't it? You know, it's just colouring the detail. I only have to hear her voice and my heart pounds. I'm powerless to resist her touch. And when she strips me naked and jumps on top of me, I go through the roof. I've never meant for this to happen. When I made my wedding vows to my wife, I fully intended to put my bad boy ways behind me. I looked her in the eye at the reception and swore blind that I was turning over a new leaf and I would never let her down. But here I am again, just a few months later, counting down the minutes until I could be intimate with another woman. I feel so terrible about my wife because she works very hard, but gets often away from home, and has no idea that I'm up to my old tricks again. Why can't I just be normal like all the other guys I know? My mates manage to stay loyal to their wives and girlfriends, so why can't I? My wife doesn't know this, but they all laugh at me behind her back. They call me the shag monster. I laugh along, but it's not a title I like.
Right, I get a picture.
Yeah. So Jane's advice is here, but what would your advice be?
The guy's got a problem. Genuinely got a problem. Like, this isn't just about cheating on your wife or your missus. He's got an issue with sex, and it's like drugs. You know, some people can't stop themselves. Some people can't stop themselves from smoking. I can't. I smoke a lot. Shouldn't. Terrible. Hate it. But I can't stop myself.
Right. So what would you if I'm the shag monster? What would you say to me?
I would say to you that go and get some therapy. Use the same. What would you call it? What would you call it? Where you're not allowed to. You don't tell.
Huh? Therapy?
No, you use the same methods to prevent your wife from finding out that you're sleeping with other women. To the therapy. Go and get the therapy and never ever mention to your wife.
Make sure you come at the end.
That you've ever done
It's not the
this.
same as it.
Yeah.
How can you go show that same dedication into shagging as with your wife?
No, the therapy.
It's as easy as
Go and
that.
get the therapy.
Okay. Well, round of applause for Flav. Do it for yourself. Because
You shouldn't have got married. Oh, fucking hell. Why do I shoot?
well, beat
Beat
that.
it out, yeah, beat it out. Right,
James-
time.
So Jane says this. The reason you get a round of applause, Flav, is Jane says, your hard-working wife doesn't deserve this.
No, she doesn't.
Could it be you have a sex addiction that needs professional treatment? Please consider visiting your GP and honestly telling him or her what you told me. That you simply can't stop playing around, and it could be that the right kind of therapy might help you to live a more stable life.
Yeah.
You have to remember that every time you have sex with another woman and then your wife, that you put your wife's sexual health in danger.
That's true.
That's really not right.
Yeah. You could get your wife hived up.
Yes, hived up. My feeling is that your wife needs to hear everything about your secret life and your sneaky behaviour right now.
She says, tell the wife.
How can she carry on in ignorance when all of your mates know what you're up to?
No,
and they're calling
that's
you childish
terrible.
names.
Terrible.
Maybe
advice.
you need to take yourself away and give yourself time to think.
That's terrible advice. Don't tell her. You destroy her.
Yeah, I've got to be honest.
Or you fix yourself. What you say?
I've got to be honest. That was the bit that I was like,
Yeah, Jane doesn't
think
know
about
shit.
that, Jane. Yeah. I mean, because you need to deal with that guilt yourself, I think. If you want it to continue.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
Was just Jane right this week? More importantly, let us know your advice, because it's much more fun when we get to give you advice than some random person who probably is actually just a copywriter or intern who they've asked to do it. But thank you, Just Jane. Do you think she's a real person?
Nah.
Probably not. Right.
Birds and that.
Birds and that. Now, before we get into it, Birds and that. Birds and that. Right, Paul O'Connor said last week, Birds and That was one of the best parts of the pod.
Best part.
Has to stay. Get Adam involved. of course, subscribe for Adam if you want to keep his job, because we won't be
Yeah.
able to do Birds and That in the next year. Daniel Flowers also says maybe Adam needs the sack if he's refusing to do Birds and That.
So refusing
What
to do
else
his job.
is he actually there for?
Exactly.
Good to have it back though. Now last
Adam, go on,
week,
let us know. What are you here for other than Birds and That?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. That's all I'm good for.
Don't.
so you agree? So let's
Yeah. Give yourself some value.
So last week, we found out that Adam's back on not only the ones and twos, but he's also on
Back on the dating apps.
on the dating apps.
Can't stay away, can he?
And the app in
he should get some
particular,
therapy because he is addicted to those things. I see him in the office, like he's supposed to be working, all he's doing is this.
yeah,
That's fucking pathetic.
yeah, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, there's just a bit of dust on my phone. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Still? I think you've got it, mate. And he went,
And then
that's pretty severe.
he's still looking at you. That's what's weird about it. He looks you in the eye. He's not even looking at who he's swiping right to. He's just literally just doing this.
Oh, that's your first problem. You need to be more picky, mate.
Yeah.
Now, Hinge is a website and an app that you can get, and their mission,
Don't remember. Was this funny? All
I
right,
don't
go on.
know, but it's fine. We believe the quality of your relationships determines the quality of your life.
So
Now, I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, and that is good because that means that Adam's not on this new app, which means he's looking for a relationship, not just a bunk up.
And Elite Daily says, swiping through endless faces devoid of any humanity is now a thing of the past.
There you go, Ad.
So this is exciting for all of us, in particular us, and of course you guys listening wherever you are. How are you finding the Hinge app?
No comment.
Thus
No
far?
problem. Maybe if you do a little bit less of this, Ad, and a bit more of.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like those photos. But what's she like?
Yeah,
Bit
what's she
more of
like
that.
underneath?
Bit more of that.
And then read and go, oh, she likes cycling and books. Well, maybe I should talk to her. Maybe let's see what books she has like. Because I don't read. I can barely read.
Yeah. Maybe she can teach me to read.
Teach me to read.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good. I mean, Emily, she's a Hinge user. She says, I love the prompts on Hinge. They give me such a better sense of someone's personality. Dive into the personality.
Yeah.
Find the person. Stop being so vacuous and shallow.
And everything is on face value, Ad.
All that said, in the real world, what are you up to this weekend, Adam?
Nothing.
Any opportunities for a bit of Birds and That?
Pardon?
Any opportunities for a bit of Birds and That?
No, there's always opportunities for Birds and
Hey,
see,
Nothing for you, lot.
It's interesting because
Oi. Let's
You won't
find
be
Adam a
happy.
girlfriend. Let's find Adam a girlfriend on the One for the Weekend podcast. A date. Do you know what? On the Fighting Cock podcast, we did this. Engineer Al, my brother, who does the podcast, the first season, we was like, Adam, Alex is single. Anyone listening want to go on a date with him? A bird messaged us. Yeah, I'll go on a date with him.
amazing.
Yeah, that
Did
was
they?
it. Yeah.
How'd it go?
Well, as well as
Does she have a nice
date-
personality?
Lovely personality.
Yeah.
I still know her, so she's
Okay.
very she's a lovely girl. But it's just interesting that it happened, and we can do it again for Adam. So if
Yeah.
there are any ladies listening who would like to go on a date with Adam, and it's not all just about face value, because Adam is a good-looking bloke. But there's lots going on inside here as well. He's a
Hell of a
good person.
Yeah.
So let us know, tweet us or whatever, and we'll set you up with Adam, and he'll take you out.
Do you know what, you never
he
know-
won't pay though. He'll pay off. That's what he's
Yeah.
He says,
Quality,
"I'm a man."
yeah.
That's one of-
2018, boys.
It's 2018, yeah,
2018.
absolutely. Well, what might be interesting, Adam, is you might meet someone at the techno rave you're going to on Saturday.
He's going to a techno rave.
It's good to a techno rave. That's big.
Techno rave.
Yeah.
Did he call it that?
Don't worry, it's not weird. It's in the daytime.
Oh mate, you and your
But
mates.
hang on, I'm thinking. We're trying to help this guy out, right?
Go to the night
How does
one.
that work? How does that? I mean, we've been to Twinkles.
You've got a
Maybe.
stat nugget for me.
Oh, a stat nugget.
Oh, well, I think that will come up wrong.
I don't know. We'll find one for you.
Yeah.
It'll have to be quite intense, won't it? I don't know how it works in a techno rave. How do you chat up a bird at a techno rave? Is it just being really precise with your box? Is that how it works? Really blowing your whistle. Do you want to borrow my hat? Right, that's Birds and That.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh no, subscribe, innit?
Yeah,
Did a
sit
subscribe
down.
bit.
I'll do that bit. God, you can
Listen to me. You